Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another falconry video. Today's video we're going to be talking about a very unique species called the Bateleur or the Bateleur Eagle. But before I jump in, if you haven't already, if you could subscribe to my channel, I very much appreciate it. And a lot of you have asked if you could help on Patreon. I do have a Patreon account now set up. It's down in the description below. But let's talk about this amazing bird. First of all, the Bateleur or the Bateleur Eagle. What does Bateleur mean? Well, it's French and it basically means like tumbler or acrobat. And some of the acrobatic displays during breeding season that these birds do kind of give them their name. But of all the strange things about this bird, that seems like the least of them. This is a very odd species, very unique, and very iconic. So I wish they had a better name. I don't know what they should be called, but Bateleur or Bateleur Eagle just doesn't do justice to this really strange bird. The conservation status of this species is endangered. This bird, it doesn't bode well for the species. It's got a lot of issues. It's very long-lived, but it takes a much longer time than probably any other raptor to reach maturity, and I'll get to that in a minute. So it definitely needs our protection and definitely needs our help. This species lives throughout Africa, and it breeds in areas from sub-Saharan Africa all the way to the savannas in dry woodlands. It covers a wide range of habitats, and it is the second largest member of the serpent eagle family. Serpent eagles, most of them are not very big. The serpent eagle, there's snake eagles and there's serpent eagles. They're kind of different lineages. So this is basically the king, or well, should I say the king? I always call them the king of the serpent eagles. And if you start to look up serpent eagles and you start to see, you're like, yeah, okay. But if you look at all the other species of serpent eagles, you start to see it. But this is still such an odd bird. Its shape, its colors, the way it lives, the way it hunts, it's very unique. But it is a member of the serpent eagle family. So we'll get into that in a minute. It's the second largest member. The largest member is surprisingly the Philippine eagle. The Philippine eagle, they used to call it the Philippine monkey-eating eagle, which again, not a very cool name. Philippine eagle, that works. I would be even cooler if it was one of the native languages there said their name for the bird. But Philippine eagle, that works. But the Philippine eagle branched off. So the serpent eagle lineage doing its thing. The Philippine eagle branched off a long time ago, and all the others went sailing. And then the Bateleur eagle branched off, and then everybody else kept doing their thing. So it's the second largest member of the lineage of serpent eagles, and it branched off the second furthest back of any of them. But you look at the rest of them, I mean, again, you look at a Philippine eagle, they're really strange, very unique, and they're a tropical bird. Straight up tropical. Most serpent eagles hunt snakes, and so they like kind of arid environments, more open country where there's a lot of snakes more readily available to see. Now that being said, you do have there are a lot of snake hunters. For example, in the New World, there is a bird called the laughing falcon. And the laughing falcon specifically will sit at the edge. It'll live in the forest, but it'll live right on the edge of anywhere you have like a community or farmlands or Mayan ruins. They love to be by Mayan ruins. And they'll wait, and when they see a snake, they'll go out in the open and they'll get them. But again, they want to hunt in the open. So if you're a serpent hunter, if you're a snake hunter, open country is advantageous. You don't want dense brush. You don't. That's very hard. It's very difficult. And so the Philippine eagle branched off and did its thing and basically turned into a harp eagle. If you're familiar with harp eagles are generally considered they're the heaviest eagle in the world, and I'll do a video on them later on. Philippine eagle evolved to fill the role of harp eagles, but in the Philippines. So they came from serpent eagles and became a Philippine version of a harp eagle. Bateleurs are weird. Bateleur eagles are strange because they're from the serpent eagle lineage, but they are not like any other raptor on Earth. Very, very strange species. Really, when you think about it, there are certain animals that it's almost like the relics from the past, from a bygone age, in the way they live and their size and their majesty. harp eagle's one of them. It almost seems like a relic from the past. And the Philippine eagle, same thing. The Philippine eagle is very endangered. And the Bateleur is the same way. This is a species that thrived all throughout the Ice Age, and now its numbers are reduced. California condors, same thing. Condors used to be all over the Americas in huge numbers, and they've been reducing since the end of the Ice Age. We think of the Ice Age in terms of, oh, it's icy, but that's not always true. There's just because there was more ice in the North and South Pole, the oceans were lower, the climate was in general cooler, there were still desert areas. And as the lifestyle of animals and the species have changed in these areas, you see some of these giants reducing in numbers. And that is true with the Philippine eagle, it's true with the harp eagle, and it's true with the Bateleur eagle. Now, the Bateleur eagle, I've got to say too, it's not an eagle. I like to be a stickler about this sometimes. When we use the word eagle too freely. If it's a really big bird of prey, we just call it an eagle. The harp eagle, heaviest eagle in the world, is not an eagle. If you're being accurate taxonomically, an eagle is any member of the genus Aquila. So golden eagle is kind of the hallmark, kind of the if you want to say what's a true eagle, golden eagle. And I did a video on Aquila eagles, all the Aquila eagles. I'll put a link to that in the description. So if you want to, kind of freshen up on that, if you're not familiar with these birds of prey, that'll give you an idea. But we use the word eagle inaccurately for just about any large bird. And then if there's a large member of that family and it's got smaller members, we still use it. Like a Philippine eagle and a Bateleur eagle, these are both serpent eagles that are eagle size. They're as big as an Aquila eagle, like a golden eagle. But all the smaller members, there's a whole bunch of smaller that are hawk-sized. And that's okay. So I'm using the term eagle. I don't like calling it the Bateleur because, again, it used to be called a Bateleur eagle, and now people are just calling it a Bateleur. But again, it means a tumbler. It's like, this is this majestic, strange, unique bird. Just calling it, this is a tumbler. It seems dumb. And so Bateleur eagle, I put eagle with it, even though taxonomically that's inaccurate, but it is the size and power, and it is, really the king of the serpent eagles. So these birds, they start off brown. And in their brown years, they very much do look kind of like a dull version of the tropical serpent eagles, of the other members of this lineage. They don't look too different. They have certain morphological things that stand out that make them look like a serpent eagle. Like they have kind of a crest, a short crest, but they have a crest. Most serpent eagles do have some sort of a little crest. They have very heavily scaled tarsi. Their legs are very heavily and thickly scaled. So again, if you're grabbing a snake and the snake reaches up and bites, hopefully it's not getting through. And so again, they're built just like that as well. But they are insanely unique from any other raptor. They don't look like anything like any other raptor. So first of all, they have a red face, and it's bare. We know with meat-eating dinosaurs, theropods, which all birds came from theropods, we know that there's a patch right here, a little patch in where there's skin and there's rich blood vessels in there, and the blood vessels will pick up the heat. So when a bird's hot, it opens its mouth, it starts panting. It will stick out its tongue way far, and so you have evaporative efforts going on where the moisture on the tongue evaporates off and carries the heat out that way. But you're also pulling in cooler air from outside. Now, it's hot. You're in the desert, but hey, that's still cooler outside than inside of your body because your body you're warm-blooded. You're generating heat. You're trying to dissipate heat. So you're doing it that way, excuse me, through evaporation. But there's also these patches of skin on either side. And the blood vessels pick up the heat, and then they extrude it with salt water, a saline, and then it comes out the nostrils. Now, it's a different opening but externally it just looks like it's coming out of the nostrils. So you'll see a hot bird, they're panting, their tongue's sticking out, and it looks like they're leaking out their nostrils. Then once they cool down, that salt water coming out of the nostrils crystallizes, and you have little streaks of salt coming out. You might not notice it on a little bird, but you see a big bird like an eagle, you'll notice it. So this is an area for dissipation of heat. Well, with Bateleur eagles, having no feathers in that region makes it easier to dissipate that heat. And since it's a cooling patch, you got to dissipate heat from that region. It's bright red, which is odd. We don't know why it's bright red, but we know there's another bird that does the same thing. There's a bird in the New World called the crested caracara, and the crested caracara is not at all related to this species. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. So, crested caracara is more closely related to falcons, but it's got the exact same thing. It lives in a hot environment, it's very warm-blooded, it's got to dissipate heat in that area, so it has, again, bare skin in that area, and it's bright red. You also see it with other birds too, like in the Aquila family. Wedge-tailed eagles, often. The more desert areas of Australia where wedge-tailed eagles are all over. But in those more desert areas, they have a more bare front and bare scalp up front and kind of bare patches there, again, to dissipate heat. But in the case of both crested caracaras and unrelated Bateleur eagles, both of these birds have bright red in that area. Birds see color very well, and they even see colors that we do not see. They use colors for display, they use colors for all kinds of things. And we know red is very much, red and blue. Red and blue are very noticed colors for birds. So for whatever the reason, they have these bright colors on them. They also have bright red legs. Again, we don't know why, but it's kind of strange. But they have the tiniest tail of really any raptor. I can't think of a raptor species anywhere in the world with a shorter tail than a Bateleur eagle. It's stumpy. It looks ridiculous. And I can think of no reason for it. There's no other serpent eagle that has anything like this. So, just so you know, if you have a tail is good for lifted and going down slowly, but it's more used for turning. A long tail is good for turning. The longer the tail, the easier it is for you to turn. So normally we see birds that live in dense forests, say like a goshawk. Goshawks are diving in and out of tree branches, and they have a longer tail than, say, a red-tailed hawk. A red-tailed hawk, it's soaring out in the open. It still has a long tail, but it doesn't have to turn as fast, right? Well, this bird almost has no tail. Its tail is so small that the wings completely covered up. When the bird is perching, the wings completely covered up. We have no idea why this is. It's really strange. Usually there's no waste in nature. Usually if there's ever a shape or a color or a form, there's some sort of reason that benefited it to go that way. So we see with falcons usually, all falcons, they usually have a long tail as a first-year bird, and then once they molt and get their adult colors their second year, they have a slightly shorter tail. Some it's very it's noticeable, like peregrine falcons. It's noticeable, it might be a few inches shorter. We don't know why. Some people have postulated that, well, their first year of life, they need more maneuverability, and then once they know what they're doing, they can afford to have a shorter tail, which has less air resistance. Maybe, but that still seems kind of strange. We're not sure on that. The Taita falcon, which evolved from peregrine falcons, has a ridiculously short tail, and maybe has the second shortest tail of any raptor next to the Bateleur eagle. It's pretty short, but nothing like Bateleur. Bateleur tail is worthless. It's absolutely useless. They're not turning with it or anything. But the interesting thing is that lineup, it is kind of shaped in a little bit of a kind of a wedge shape. It's stumpy, but when it's out, instead of being curved like this is, here's the body, this is from above, this is the tail, right? It's more wedge shaped. And it forms kind of an airfoil with those broad secondary wing feathers that is, in shape, very comparable to the black-chested buzzard eagle of the New World. They're not at all related, and a black-chested buzzard eagle does have a much longer tail than a Bateleur, but the shape is the same, and so if we're trying to figure out why on earth does it have a short tail, maybe we ought to be looking into an unrelated species with a similar feature. So, up for discussion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one. And again, I'll have images on this video kind of showing that. But this tail is just so short, and we don't know why. But it doesn't seem to hamper them in how they live. So their wings are huge. Their wingspan, they've got like a 6-foot wingspan, and they weigh about 3,000 grams. So it's about 6.6 pounds. That's a pretty big bird. It's not as big as like a golden eagle or something, but that's a sizable eagle. But what's really strange, their wings are shaped in a very odd way. If you look at a normal bird, like you look at a bird like a golden eagle or something, red-tailed hawk is another good example. Normally, you have the secondaries that are broad, and the primaries stick out. And the primaries, each primary feather from a side view is shaped like an individual wing. So each primary sticking out gives lift. And there's normally kind of a shape we see across the board among all birds that soar. There's kind of a rough shape you see, whether from a raven to a golden eagle. There's just kind of a rough shape that it's almost like nature itself shapes you into that. If you range too far out from that basic shape, you're not going to have as much lift. Well, not the Bateleur Eagle. The Bateleur Eagle has oversized secondaries, and then when you get to the primaries, it's just like 3 or 4 primaries that are just ridiculously long. They stick out comically far. I like animals that seem balanced. I love shapes and forms that really form and function over appearance. So, like I love that goshawks have a long tail and short rounded wings. They're forest dwellers. Look at a great white shark, perfect design. You look at something like a weasel, perfectly built for what they do. A bateleur seems weird. The secondaries look like they were drawn by a little kid, and those primary feathers sticking out, they look like you drew an eagle and then your art teacher said, oh, hey, remember the primaries stick out from the edge. Oh, and you just kind of shoved them on. It's an odd look in flight. They're very noble and majestic in how they fly, but it is a very strange look. I don't know what to make of it. You don't have any other bird really with a form like that, other than where the secondaries meet the tail. Again, that shape is a little bit similar to a black-chested buzzard eagle, which again, some people are calling Chilean blue eagles. I'm going to put a link to that because I put a lot of work in that. I did a video on all the buzzard eagles of the New World. I'm going to put a link to that down below too. And watch the part where I show their tail. And look at that, and look at the images in this video compared to a bateleur, and you can get more of an inkling of how and why that works. And again, I would love to hear your theories on why that is. This bird lives ridiculously long. They live like 60 to 70 years in captivity. One of the ones I worked at the Peregrine Fund, I think it lived up to the 70s. I'm like, this bird's way older than me. It's strange to have a bird live that long. It also takes them a long time to reach maturity. Usually, smaller birds, most small birds like, peregrine falcon, or a red-tailed hawk, or, a kestrel. These birds, they hatch, they get full size in a few months, and then they live 1 year of life. And then once they're 1 year old, they molt and they get their grown-up feathers, and then they're considered an adult. Bigger birds, like that are kind of the in-between sort of thing, like, again, black-chested buzzard eagle, common black hawks here in the New World. Some of these birds are kind of in-between size, and they might take 3 years. They'll have 3 different color morphs to get their full adult colors and to be considered a full breeding adult. Then you have like proper eagles, something like like a harp eagle or a golden eagle or a bald eagle. And these are birds that it's going to take them 5 years. They're going to have 5 different color phases until they reach adulthood. And each year they're getting a new set of feathers, and once they have their adult colors, that's it, and they're going to get a new set every year that will match that. And then they're considered a breeding adult. Well, not bateleurs. Bateleur eagles, it takes like 7 to 8 years for them to reach sexual maturity and to reach their adult colors. And their adult colors are stunning, strange, such dark black. And usually when birds are black, it's not proper black. It's like a rainbow black that reflects back. It's a warm. I'm an artist. I paint. And so I'm really interested in hues and colors. And so what you're normally looking at is colors that bounce back red. Like look at a turkey vulture. Turkey vultures seem black, but if you see them up close in the light, they're kind of a reddish brown reflecting back at you. Not bateleurs. The black of a Bateleur eagle is, when they're adults, is proper full light absorbing black, like the deepest, darkest depths of the universe, sinking into a black hole black. It is cool looking, and it's striking. And then, the reds and the different colors they have on their body. And again, having ridiculous red legs, a stumpy red tail, a bright red face. They are a bold, weird-looking bird. Their feathers have a crispness to them as well that I can't put a finger on how to explain it. But you see them folded up, you see them moving. There is a crispness that it's almost like seeing somebody in like a really well-fitted suit that's just, it's like, whoosh, especially when they're perching or on the ground, really kind of interesting. So these are odd birds. They're cool birds, and again, living in Africa, you can imagine the kind of way of life they have. A lot of Africa can be very hot in the day and very cold at night. And one of the things these birds do is they gather up sunlight in a way that perfectly mimics New World vultures. So what they'll do is in the morning, they'll get up and they'll put their wings out and they'll turn them up. They'll turn them upright, facing the sun like a giant solar panel. Now that warms them up. It helps gather vitamin D, but not all birds do that. Some birds very much do that. We don't entirely know why. In the New World, all of our New World vultures do it. Cathartidae is that lineage, that genus. Cathartidae is Andean condors, California condors, the king vulture, which is I gotta pause here too. When you're going through all the New World vultures, it's like going through all the serpent eagles. You go, okay, serpent eagle, serpent eagle, serpent eagle, serpent eagle. And then you've got like a bateleur eagle. It's like, okay, clown. And then all the other serpent eagles. It's kind of the same way. In the New World, you've got Andean condors. You got California condors. And then you got the king vultures like, hello, I'm a cartoon character. Look at my eyes and my bright colors and my vibrant white, markings. And then all the rest. You got turkey vultures. And you've got greater and lesser yellow-headed vultures, and then black vultures. And that's it. We used to have others during the Ice Age, too. But, some of them have some color. Turkey vultures have a little bit of color. The turkey vultures in South America will flush their face more colorful with blood when they're mad or something. Condors do that, too. California condors do that. They're like, I'm angry, rah, and they get all colorful. Turkey vultures in Utah, where I live, do not do that. In fact, just because I filmed this 2 days ago, I'm going to tell you a story randomly. This is a bent tangent off the sideline. I love vultures. All Old World vultures are more closely related to eagles. New World vultures are related to storks. But I don't care. I love all vultures. And you go like in the southern United States, and vultures are just hanging around, especially black vultures. You can just walk right up to them. They're just like pigeons. And I would kill for that. I grew up in Utah, and in Utah, all of our turkey vultures are very aloof. They're gone in the winter, they come in the summer, and they're aloof. You can't get near them. And I'm always trying to get good footage of them. Anytime I get a chance, I try to. So I was out filming in Moab, Utah the other day, and I saw a dead squirrel on the road. I drove past, and I came back, and when I was coming back, and I saw a turkey vulture up in a tree wanting to eat it. And it's like, it's in the middle of the road. I'm like, okay. So I pulled it off, and I put it off to the side of the road. And then I'm like, wait a minute. He's like Bob, and he wants to go for it. So I turned around and came back, and I hid behind a tree, zoomed in, and I got some good footage, and it was really interesting. Turkey vultures are not as big as you think. They have like a 5-6 foot wingspan, but they're like the size of a hawk, their body. And so it was really cool to see that this raven came over and was pecking at it too, and the turkey vulture was able to push him off. Well, that raven is stronger. The raven has, stronger beak, stronger feet than a turkey vulture. But it was still really cool to see that turkey vulture. Normally they get pushed off of a kill, and he was like, no, this is mine. I'm hungry. It was kind of neat. So anyways, New World vultures. A little bit of a side tangent there. Which I'm going to do a video in a few weeks on king vultures just because of this. Because I got some really good footage built up that I've been wanting to do. So anyways, New World vultures, even in the tropics. Even in the tropics of the New World, in the morning, they put their wings out, and they just look, it's really cool. Oh, I might have a picture of Chaco Canyon of a bunch doing this, but they just get up, and they just all spread out, and they just fan out, and they have to build up that heat and build up that vitamin D. Bateleur eagles do the same thing. This is odd. It makes sense they do it, but this is yet another thing that you don't see other serpent eagles doing? It's a very vulture-like behavior, and we don't know why. So again, it's like zebras. You look at members of the horse family, and you look at members of the wild ass family. Haha, I know wild ass. It's donkeys, but a donkey is not an accurate term. Wild asses, forget the fact that we joke around about the term. All of them are pretty muted, pretty normal colors, and then boom, you have zebras. That's kind of what Bateleur Eagles are like. They stand out in a very odd way in their behavior and in their appearance. And again, none of the other serpent eagles do that, where they put their wings out and turn them upright and just spend like an hour and a half every morning just like gathering sunlight. But they do it. It's what they do. It's really cool to see, because again, it's not something that the other serpent eagles do, even though this is kind of the king of the serpent eagles. So these birds fly beautifully. They're built to glide. Their wings are oversized. And again, they have those ridiculous few primaries that are drawn, like they're drawn by kids, sticking out even further than they should be. They're built to glide. In the wild, they will spend 80% of their daylight spent on the wing. They're just flying around, cruising around, looking for things to hunt or things to scavenge. This bird is a master scavenger. But who isn't in Africa? I mean, come on. There's such megafauna. The only place where you truly have a profusion of megafauna on the planet still today is Africa. You still have a few megafauna species here and there elsewhere, but it used to be everywhere. During the Ice Age, there was big animals that died everywhere. Africa, you still do. And a free meal is a free meal. I've said this in other videos, and I'll say it again. We tend to look down on animals that scavenge. We're like, they just eat dead stuff. They're eating roadkill and stuff. It's like, well, it's a lot easier to eat a fresh roadkill than it is to go hunt something. And if it's there, be like, well, I'm an eagle, so I won't eat it. And guess what? You're a scavenger. Do you kill a cow every time you eat a hamburger? No. You're eating something that's already dead. So scavenging is actually just good business. It's just wise. It's an excellent survival strategy. And again, just about any bird that hunts in Africa, especially every large bird in Africa, will also scavenge. And so they are master scavengers, and you often see a bunch of them all on a kill, which is really cool. You see all these kind of bland vultures going around. Maybe you have a marabou stork coming along, and then you have a Bateleur Eagle. Look at me in my glory and my mighty colors and my cool crest. And then it's like, whoa, who showed up in a tuxedo to the party? This is the grubby show, and you're like, whoa, it's just wild looking. It's really kind of cool. Really kind of cool. They do hunt though. They do hunt. They will hunt doves. They will hunt a bird called a lilac-breasted roller, which is almost a shame because those rollers are really colorful and really beautiful. They will hunt skinks, which are a type of armored lizard. They hunt dwarf mongooses. They will hunt something called a red-crested korhan. They hunt greater cane rats, which are these monstrous, weird-looking things. And, of course, they hunt snakes. They are very good at hunting snakes. Oddly, they will also hunt insects. Again, there is no waste in nature. Free meal is a free meal. Africa gets a lot of, kind of like, what do they call them? We call them grasshoppers here. God, the name's escaping me. Locusts. You have these giant locusts that come in swarms, and it's like, well, hey, if they're running around the ground, sure, I'll eat them. It's protein. It's easy food, easy to catch. So they will sometimes be insectivores. So you have this mighty noble eagle that will also hunt insects. They compete directly with tawny eagles. They're totally different lineages. A tawny eagle is a true eagle. It's a small member of the Aquila line, so it is a true eagle. And Bateleur eagles are coming at this from the serpent eagle family. Both are hunters. Both are scavengers. And they kind of compete exactly for the same range. They compete for the same nesting habitat. They compete for the same prey. And so biologists have done studies and say their numbers are kind of like this. They kind of keep each other at bay. And if one were to go extinct from an area, the other would fill in, and they just take over in that way. That's just how they are. But the difference has been noted that tawny eagles, they're a little bit different. So Bateleur eagles are more likely to hunt from a soar, where tawny eagles are more likely to hunt from perching. They'll still both soar, and they'll still both hunt from a perch, but a bateleur is more likely to be soaring and go after prey, and a tawny eagle is more likely to be just sitting around like a red-tailed hawk and then go after something. Usually, surprisingly somewhat, bateleur eagles are better hunters. However, tawny eagles are a little more tenacious on the ground and are more likely to push a bateleur eagle off the kill. It's kind of cool. So I have gotten to work with these a little bit, and they're very smart. They're very personable. In falconry, a lot of times we talk about, oh, birds don't care about you. They don't have feelings or emotions like we do. It's not like a dog getting bonded to you or a parrot. But some of them do. Some of them absolutely do. And people who have worked with bateleurs have found them incredibly personable. We normally find this with animals that are long-lived. We do. Parrots develop incredible bonds with the people they work with. And parrots are incredibly long-lived. Eagles, golden eagles. I worked with a lot of golden eagles, and they develop such a bond. And some of them can be as cuddly as a puppy. And, I've known falconers that will even curl them up in their lap and pet them like that. It's like, really? An eagle with 1,200 PSI in the feet that can rip your face off? Yep, they can get that way. And bateleurs are no different. Bateleur eagles can absolutely be affectionate and personable and not as much as a parrot, but they're very intelligent. And a lot of wildlife centers and falconry centers around the world have had them captive bred and have demonstrated with little toys and little like puzzles where here you open this and you do this and you get this and you get a little treat, get a reward of food. They're very intelligent, problem-solving intelligent. So this is an amazing bird, but again, kind of a relic of the past. We don't think of Africa when we think of the Ice Age, but Africa was around during the Ice Age. It was wetter, but it was Africa. And so this really is a relic of a bygone age. Just as California condors, some people would say, are kind of a relic of an ecosystem that is no longer intact. The ecosystem that supported California condors isn't really there. So they're kind of clinging on, where you have California condors mostly eating like dead animals on the ocean, like, oh hey, a whale, a dead whale washed up, we'll go eat that, where they used to be all across the United States because you had big things like woolly mammoths dying. Same thing, it seems like the Bateleur eagle may be a relic clinging on from a ecosystem that is not intact. Now, it seems like Africa has a more intact ecosystem than just about anywhere in the world. But nevertheless, you do see certain species going down in numbers. And this is a species, a beautiful, noble species, that definitely deserves our protection and our attention. And I appreciate organizations, falconry centers around the world that breed these, so there is a captive bred stock in case the numbers do totally become non-existent in the wild, that happens. And hats off to the Peregrine Fund for breeding them. I think this is, again, one of the most strikingly beautiful species. I say that a lot. I'm an artist. I have an eye for beauty. But there's nothing like it. Again, the proper light-absorbing black, bright red face and red legs, stumpy red tail, oversized secondaries, and wings like a vulture. I mean, it's like, and again, you came from the serpent eagle lineage, and yet you're turning your wings up like a New World vulture, which you don't see with any of the other serpent eagles. There is nothing like a bateleur. When I was first reading about these, I was flipping through a book. I think it was Birds of Prey and it was a Trevor Boyer painting, I think. I remember the first time I saw that, and I was like, was a kid, checked it out from the library. I was like, what is this bird? Because there's nothing like it. Anything else you can see. The sparrowhawks of the world is like, oh, okay, I can see, right? The Aquila eagles. Oh, you look at a tawny eagle, or steppe eagle, golden eagle. Yeah, I can see they're kind of related. It's like, what is this? These are really exciting birds. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about them. Having worked with them a little, I wish I had more chance to. I wish that I got to go hang out with some of these European raptor centers that have them more easily accessible, because it would be a dream to work with them again. If you've worked with them, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what they're like. Let us know what the personality's like, what the behavior's like, if you work with them long term. We would love to hear your perspectives on this. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what other kind of videos you would like to see. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Takes a lot of time and research to put these things together, and I hope you appreciate them. If you haven't already, if you can hit subscribe to my channel, it really helps me keep this going. And as always, happy hawking.